Well, hello. Welcome back to this next episode of With Purpose. My name is Ben Hutton, and I am excited that you are here to learn something with me and to plan your week ahead, because we all have more to do than we have time to do it in, and we want to do what we do with purpose and make sure it's impactful. This week, I want to talk about crutches in a big, metaphorical sense. Things that we rely on to help us. So certainly, we're all familiar with crutches. You break your leg and you hobble around for 6 or 8 weeks on crutches. But we have this same type of device showing up in our lives in lots of different places. And most of them, for me, are represented on this thing, this phone, right? And so, GPS and the maps that we have that give us directions, and we don't have to remember how to get anywhere anymore. I cannot remember a phone number to save my life for the most part. So I still have the phone numbers that I memorized in high school of my parents and my friends. I can remember those, and Pizza Shuttle in Manhattan. I remember those clearly. But if I don't know my daughter's cell phone number. It's just in there. It's just in the phone, right? And so, my brain has decided I don't need to remember those things anymore, and so I don't. And calendar appointments. If it does not live on my calendar, I don't know. I don't show up. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow without my calendar. And so we rely on these crutches that help us through life and give us aid. But they can be dangerous, right? I mean, we know, I can't remember these phone numbers anymore. And, even going back to biology, we can take hormone supplements that help us feel better. But as soon as we start taking some of those, our body stops producing them altogether. And then we are totally dependent on these external aids, on these crutches. And that can be a dangerous thing, I think, because slowly the abilities that we have as humans to operate in this world atrophy. And if we are ever to find ourselves without those aids, we struggle. And so we have to be careful about the choices we make on the crutches that we use. Now, the flip side of this argument is the physical therapy that you do after you break your leg, this continual pushing of that knee, that leg, to do just beyond what it's capable of at that moment actually builds capability. It builds muscle. That's why we go to the gym or we take walks frequently to keep our body healthy and actually build muscle instead of let it atrophy. And the same thing can happen with our brain. There's all sorts of research around neural pathways and how they don't really stay the same size. Stasis is not a thing. It's either shrinking because we're not using it, or it's growing because we are. So using parts of our brain or repeatedly practicing certain skills to make sure that that is a growing part of our brain is really important. It's one of the reasons that I like to start this planning practice that we do on this podcast with gratitude, because I want that to be a growing part of my brain. It is not something that comes very natural to me. And so I have to put it into practice very intentionally to make sure that that is a big focus of mine in my life. I think it's good. So what does this mean practically for you? It means, I think, periodically we need to step back and audit the crutches that we are using in our lives and make sure that those are conscious decisions that we are making and we are good and happy with all of those. And if we aren't, to change them, right? And so, honestly, I'm perfectly okay with my calendar living in my phone. I don't think I could keep up with it if I didn't. And so that's a good tool for me. And I've created some backups for that to make sure that I don't miss the really important stuff, right? But other crutches that show up in my life, I do think I should be thinking about changing. So I should be able to remember my daughter's phone number, just in case. And there's other things like that all over the place. And so we want to take a little bit of an audit with it, and then we want to have some planning and practice put around changing it. And it really is just that simple. This is, for most of us, I think, an awareness problem, not necessarily a practice problem, because if we really thought about it and we were aware of the atrophy that we are allowing to happen in our capabilities, we would do something about it. Okay, that's this week's episode of With Purpose. Now it's time for planning, and we start that with gratitude, just like I said. So what are you grateful for this week? I recently got to spend some time with my dad and my brother and a few of our sons on a fishing trip, and it was a fantastic time. We had a lot of fun together, caught some fish, got to experience the world, got to experience some travel joys, we'll call it joys, together, and we made memories, and it was awesome. And so I'm really grateful for that. What are you grateful for? Okay, first question, identify one tool, habit, or person that you are currently using as a crutch that you would like to not use in the future. Second question. We didn't talk about this on the podcast, but I think you can infer or extrapolate what this means for your organization. Like, I think organizations also have crutches. What's one of those for the company or nonprofit that you work at? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Okay, that's it for this week's episode of With Purpose. Hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.